7'4", making his all-star debut. From the Utah Jazz, center, Mark Eaton.
Here's Jabbar, low left, good position, little turnaround jumper, block by Eaton. Eaton goes down with the ball.
Eaton is an outside move and a three-point attempt for Mark Eaton.
Eaton grabs it, Mark hands it in. Mark Eaton, what a play by the big fella. Low left, Eaton there to help, and he blocks it. For Eaton, blocking right out of bounds. Eaton blocks it, grabs it out. What a play by Eaton.
Stockton puts down the left big Mark.
Coming out, he crashes in. Goes to Green. Block by Eaton. Picked up by Magic. Block by Eaton. And it goes out of bounds. Oh, baby. Big Mark everywhere.
Mark is there.
Good Eaton rebound. Big Mark slams it in. Block by Eaton. What a play by Big Mark.
When you're 7'4", like, everybody pays attention to you, right? I mean, as soon as you walk out the door, you're on stage. My father was a vocational educator and marine diesel mechanic, and going to trade school was kind of a natural thing for me. My roommate from trade school had got a job at a tire store as a tire buster mechanic, and so I went to work over there in Buena Park and was there for about a year and a half. I started out mounting tires, selling shock absorbers, that kind of stuff. It was a straight commission shop. And then eventually moved into mechanical side, doing alignments, tune-ups, brakes, front end work, that kind of stuff. Smog certifications back then in the 70s in California. You know, I'm a 7-foot-tall mechanic out there, and of course everybody that comes in the shop was like, why aren't you playing basketball? Why aren't you playing basketball? Why aren't you playing basketball? Just to drive me crazy, because I don't run around telling everybody else what they should be doing with their life. And I was there for about a year and a half doing that until one day a junior college coach walked into my shop and changed my life forever. So this gentleman, his name was Tom Lubin, and he was actually a chemistry professor at the local junior college at Cypress College in Southern California. And he actually was driving around the corner one day, and I was out on the corner of this very busy intersection of this tire store, and I was talking to a customer, and he of course saw this really tall guy standing out of this corner and immediately pulled in, and he came in like, who are you and what are you doing here and why aren't you playing basketball? And I was just rolling my eyes like, oh, here we go again. You know, do you want your car fixed or not? Was kind of my attitude at the time. And he said, if you'd be willing to go out on the basketball court with me just 30 minutes, it might change your mind. And probably the bigger part of it was he said, you know what, if you want to do this, if you want to start working out and just giving this a try after work, I will be here for you every afternoon, and we'll just give this a try for a few weeks and see how it goes. And that commitment to me, I think, meant more than even what he could teach me, because I mean, who does that? Who says, I'll just work out with you every night? So that's what we started doing, working out. And that first year of junior college ended up going pretty darn well. So I played 2 years in junior college, and they were pretty successful years. And then I went to UCLA. There were summer league games at the men's gym. And this is really basically pickup games where a bunch of guys would show up in the afternoons and play against each other. But at UCLA, they kind of took on a whole different meaning, because the players that lived in LA during the summer, that grew up there, or that played for the Lakers, or the Clippers, whoever it was, all showed up at the men's gym. Like it was the best of the best. They were like all-star games. And so I would do my workouts in the morning on my own, and then in the afternoons come back and play in these games. And so, I mean, we had Magic Johnson there, and James Worthy, and Norm Nixon, all these great Laker players. And one day in particular, something happened that was especially unique. And I was out on the floor, and there was another guy on the team named Rocket Rod Foster, who was this incredibly fast player. And he was like getting all the way down the floor to the basket before I was barely getting across like half court. And I was really frustrated, and I'm just like, you know, I just can't figure this out. Like, maybe this game isn't for me. Maybe I can't play at this level. And while I'm thinking that, I all of a sudden I feel this big hand on my shoulder. Well, I turn around, and it's Wilt Chamberlain, and who is arguably the greatest basketball player that ever lived. And he had retired from the NBA a few years before that, but he lived just up above campus, and every day he would come down and still play with the young guys. He grabbed me by the shoulder and looked me right in the eye, and he said, first of all, young fella, you were never going to catch that man. And he said, secondly, it's not your job. And he said, you know, you see this basket behind you? He said, your job is to stop players from getting there. Your job is to make them miss their shot, and then collect the rebound and throw it up to the guard, and let them go down the other end and score it. And your job is to kind of cruise up the half court and see what's going on. I was like, what? it was this real light bulb experience for me because it took the whole mystery out of the game of basketball for me. I understood what I needed to focus on and kind of understood what I needed to kind of let go of. Because I wasn't that fast. I mean, there's no way I was ever going to be fast enough to catch those faster, smaller guys. But what Wilt showed me was exactly to take what I did have, the skills that I already possessed, what I could already do, and double down on those. And that little 5-minute conversation changed my life. I stopped thinking about the weaknesses and the things I couldn't do well. There were other teammates who could do those things. And my job was to perform my role and do it to the best of my ability because I knew that would give us an even better chance of winning a game. And that became the center of my game. That became the X factor of playing defense and helping my teammates and getting the rebounds and being that last line of defense on the basketball court. Turned into a 12-year NBA career, an NBA record, a trip to the All-Star game, because I listened to what he had to say. I think the first part of the conversation is like forget about the weaknesses. Okay, I'm a big believer in that. Like the weak, you're never going to fix the weaknesses. Now, I'm not saying don't go learn a new skill that's going to make you more money. That's a different thing. But I think sometimes we get so wound up in I don't do this well, I don't do that well, and we really need to kind of pivot that to a different paradigm of, what are the things that I do well? And sometimes we don't know. When it comes to ourselves, it's sometimes difficult to ascertain what am I really good at. So the first thing I tell people is go ask 3 people. Hey, what am I really good at? And those are my strengths. I'm a really good teammate. I'm a good coach. I'm very loyal. Those are things that I bring to the party when I show up. Then once you learn that information and figure out what it is that you're good at, you have to look at that and say, okay, how can I apply this to my job? At some point in time, you have to accept who you are, accept what your strengths are, forget about the weaknesses, let all the other conversations about who you are, think you're supposed to be fade away, and just say, look, this is who I am, and this is where and this is how I live, and this is where I live from. And so that's how I live, and makes life a lot more enjoyable.